And Bill Hargreaves, again, his name comes up in 1962 when he launched something called 62 Clubs. What was that about?
Yeah, so basically, having spent quite a lot of time in the world of employment, he realised that a lot of disabled people were a bit fed up with having their sort of leisure time organised for them, so they'd be sent on coach trips and things like that. And he set up the 62 clubs as a sort of self-help groups where disabled people could get together and decide what kind of activities they wanted to do, and also began to start organising holidays abroad for people who'd never been abroad before. And so he was very much a sort of pioneer in that area, and he managed to move into that area and really sort of open up the world effectively to disabled people who wanted to go and pursue whatever leisure activities they wanted to do, not the ones that were provided by a local day centre or something like that. And also to be able to go on holiday independently. And so that started in the 60s.
From 1952 to 1962, it does seem as though he was involved with the organisation for a very long time.
I mean, he was still involved with Scope right up until when I joined in 1994, where he was one of the speakers at the extraordinary general meeting where he supported the change of name from the Spastic Society to Scope. So that was it was somebody who was speaking about, yes, he'd worked obviously for the charity since the very beginning, but he was right behind changing the name and supporting sort of Scope's future direction.
So in 1984, we have something called Disability Now, which was an opportunity for disabled people to have their voices heard through sort of various forms of media.
Yeah. So Disability Now started as a sort of a monthly newspaper, and it was editorially independent of Scope, and was written by disabled journalists, people like Peter White, Mike Oliver, who was often credited with creating the social model of disability, and very many other disabled journalists and writers contributed to it. It was often quite critical of Scope, and it often pushed the sort of rights agenda, and I'm very pleased to say that one of the things that we've been able to do in the 70th anniversary is we've got the Wellcome Library, which has our paper archive, Scope's paper archive. They're going to digitise all of the issues of Disability Now from 1984 and until it closed in the last few years. It as well as the newspaper, there was a website. So in the 21st century, it went sort of web only, and there were also quite a lot of podcasts. And all of that hopefully will be going into the Wellcome Library, so that it'll be a unique sort of historical resource for disability historians to use. So it's very exciting that they're going to be doing that for us.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll be a brilliant resource for sort of anybody to access if they want to obviously learn a lot about the history of sort of disability and of Scope as well. So in 1990, we have the launch of Scope's Helpline, which obviously people will know today and support disabled people and their families or carers with, and talk them through subjects like employment and benefits and finance and other things. So we had the launch of that back in 1990. So it's been around for about 32 years now.
So yeah, I mean, when the helpline started, I think there were a very small number of callers on the first day, and people wondered whether it was going to be a success. But I mean, it's been been something that's grown and grown. Obviously now the helpline covers all sort of aspects of disability, of living as a disabled person, and it's, I think, regularly it's sort of 25 to 30,000 callers and emailers every year, and of course now there's also the online community where people can also talk to each other about advice as well. So the helpline was the start of trying to support people over the telephone or online.